is a pleasure to be with you this morning, not as a speaker, but someone that along with you is going to be in for a real gift. I first got to know of Rama Inacio last fall sometime during a number of emails. We had been corresponding with each other, but almost 2 months ago, a little bit under 2 months ago, I had an opportunity to hear the message that he gave at Renaissance Unity, the other church I attend when I am not serving this church. And yesterday when Rama came in, and our timing was perfect, he came here 2 minutes after I arrived. We talk about coincidence. And there are no coincidences, we all know that. There's a lot of synchronicity. But about 7 of us had the opportunity last night to attend Rama's channeling session, and he brought a lot of clarity to what I want to do with my career. He doesn't remember a lot of it, but still, he brought a lot of clarity, and I think he also brought a lot of clarity to a lot of other individuals that attended last night as well, too. So I think we are really gifted this morning, and also this afternoon and evening, and we'll talk about that a little later, to have with us Rama Inacio. Rama.
Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
See, I have to stand on tiptoes to hug Bob. I am going to talk about coincidence, actually. Subject of this talk, in fact, well, let me back up. Thank you for inviting me to your church. How about that? Thank you. Because it is a gift to be able to come and share, to be able to share in the celebration of the Sunday morning, the start of the new week, and everything that comes with it. It is a gift to be part of that and to bring my little 2 cents worth. Sorry, wrong country. So the name of the talk I've given for today is Striding Through the Invisible Doors. What's the message going to be about? The message is going to be about God. There we go. Plot spoiler. Should only be fall asleep in the next 10 minutes or so. But really, I'm not going to talk about God, because I think that's really fundamentally there is my issue with much of spirituality, much of religion. You see, God's all around. God's never going to leave our side. God is within us. And you know all of this. So what's the problem? Why do we need to talk about this? It's because there's so much blocking us and that which is the divine or our divine. And that's what I'm very invested in. That's what I've devoted my life to, directly or indirectly, okay? The last time I saw Bob, which was in Cleveland, we just got just had the opportunity to attend a performance of it was the Chicago Orchestra, let me get this right, and Cleveland, no, wrong way around, the Cleveland Orchestra and the Chicago Ballet. And they're putting on a performance of Bluebeard's Castle, which is a magnificent piece of work and an extremely gloomy one at the same time. But within that work was all about doors and the introduction of these doors and possibilities and what lies between them and the fear that surrounds that very process of, well, here's the door and we're going to walk through it. I want to talk to you about authenticity and spontaneity this morning. I had a talk prepared, and probably around about 7 o'clock this morning, Spirit said in its own way, no, you're not. We're going to have something else today. Not that I'm going to discard it, I'm going to follow that, but I'm going to have to veer off the path a bunch of times. Why? Because I've got 20-25 unique models of God staring at me right now. To show up with something that I've pre-prepared and try and slam it onto you is not true. It's not truth, it's not authentic, and you wouldn't integrate it. The words would go in and they go out, okay? And I'm wondering how I'm going to do this, okay? This morning watching television, and Shirley MacLaine's being interviewed on television with Oprah Winfrey. Shirley MacLaine, who I, in my younger days, saw as an actress, then discovered a little more recently there was a powerhouse of spirituality and divinity lurking in dwelling within that little body. And she's talking about the Rat Pack and her time with Dino and Sammy Davis Jr. and so on, and how spontaneity had just happened, and that was their lives. They were on stage all of the time. And she was also talking about, she got to a point in her life where she couldn't stop. She couldn't be inauthentic anymore. She had to speak her truth because it was hurting her. Okay. You know, in my slightly younger days, because not as young as I look, my younger days I used to enjoy snowboarding. Used to love it. And the thing about snowboarding is, say you are hurtling down a mountain at 30 miles an hour, if you don't make a decided, deliberate turn, you'll fly off the mountain and die. So, and there you are, the last thing you want to do is turn, because you'll fall off. That's where you'll fall off. And to actually turn, you have to lean forwards. Okay, you have to lean forwards, which when you're flying down a mountain at 35 miles an hour also is the last thing you want to do. But in our lives, we have to make these deliberate changes. Because our ego is screaming at us, don't do that. Stay the same. Stay the same because I'm familiar with that and I like it. I like it that you're not happy with yourself. I like it that you're staying in that job for 3 years longer than you need to. I like this. That's what the ego says. We've always done it this way. There's another good one, right? We've always done it this way. And the ego likes the stagnancy of that. You know, come to the conversations we had last night, talking a lot about stuck energy, and so on. And what was it, Einstein that said, definition of madness is thinking you can change something with the problem that caused it in the first place, or something like that. I really need to look up my Einstein. There's a note to self there. So, what do I mean by doorways then? What do I mean by doorways? You know, you've got a doorway in this metaphor that I'm using now when you've got a challenge coming or a constriction. You know that feeling you get in your solar plexus or your heart, perhaps, different things talking, but the same kind of thing. Rejection, possible rejection, that's another doorway. Let me see. Self-doubt, there's a good one. Vulnerability, ouch, yes. No one likes to be vulnerable, do we? And temptation, of course. So let me talk about temptation for a minute. So in the the Lord's Prayer, just think for a minute, what's the Lord's Prayer? By the way, if any of you ever get the chance to go to Unity Village, try to be around the bookstore around 11 o'clock in the morning, because you'll hear over the radio system a recording of Charles Fillmore reciting the Lord's Prayer, and there is a real powerful energy in that. It's a very present energy. Anyway, quick aside. But of course, in the Lord's Prayer, we have that line, lead us not into temptation. Okay? So what we're saying is, take me away from anything that's going to tempt me. Now, I was born Jewish. Actually, I attended Christian schools all through my life. I've said the Lord's Prayer many, many times. I like it. I don't want to change it. What I think behooves me, and if any of this resonates with you, then I shall share it, is that line, lead us not into temptation. That's not been the story of my life. I can't speak for any of you. But I can say I get wheeled into temptation plenty. And therein is the space that I learn about myself and I learn about divinity and the space between the two of them. When I'm tempted to do something and I choose to do it, or I choose not to do it. And in the not doing it, well, there is the growth of my spirit. In the doing it, there is the growth of my ego. It's really as simple as that. So, I'm not going to stop saying the Lord's Prayer as it's said. I like it. It's got that vibration, that frequency, that brings me back to 6 years old when I heard it for the first time. I'm not going to stop saying it. I love saying other versions of it too. But just to consider, just to throw that out there as it were, that an interpretation of that line could be, Lord, lead me to the spaces that you would have me go and support me to move through them. It's clumsy, you probably won't remember it. But therein is the truth. Because God wants us to grow, we want us to grow, we want more of God. Simple as that. God's going to bring us where we need to be, whether we like it or not. You know, I see people avoiding things. I counsel many people on marriage, or relationships and so on. And I see people who do not want to be in their relationships any longer. And one of the things I say to these people from time to time is, you can choose to leave this relationship if that's what you want to do. But you will create the same situation. And it will probably be a bigger and spikier version of it. And that is a parallel example for being in the world of employment, when we're having issues at work. It really behooves us to use our spiritual principles to work out why we're mirroring such a thing. Because if we leave a job because we don't like the situation, we will create the same thing somewhere else. We will. The same human resources director and all of it. I've been there. I'm reminded of the Bob Marley song. I think it's Get Up, Stand Up. Let me see if I can remember the words to it. Some people think great God will come down from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth, and now you see the light, stand up for your right. What he's saying there is, there's no point trying to wish our problems away. There's no point trying to pray our problems away. And God's not going to do it for us, but God is going to do it through us, and it's going to happen right here. Bob Marley, everyone. Just a joke. What does avoiding do? It pollutes us, okay? It drains us, gives us anxiety, all these things. Gives us infections. I, as an interesting note, have one right now, right here. I was looking at that today. I thought, oh, how funny. What have I been avoiding? I know exactly what I've been avoiding, actually. I was like, oh, it's staring at me literally right in the face. There's an old expression. A man meets his fate on the path he takes to avoid it. Okay. Now, I'd love to say I heard about that at the foot of the Guru in the Himalayan mountains, but no, it's in Kung Fu Panda. Great film, great film. But that really taught me that there's no point running away from a problem. In fact, as soon as you realize that it is such a thing, it's probably a gift in disguise, lurking on the other side of one of these doors, as I'm calling them right now. Turn around, take a look at the door. Everyone just turn around, human. Okay? So I'd like to think of, let's just consider how long it would take you to walk to the door right now. What it would take, you guys maybe 20 seconds, you guys maybe 5 seconds at the door, unless you're really walking slowly or doing a handstand or something like that. We're not talking about a lot of time here to actually get to the door and walk out of it. But you know what we're avoiding? We're avoiding that squeeze. And that thing that we will sit and avoid for anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 years and beyond that, we are avoiding a 20-second squeeze of actually having to deal with something face to face. Bob deals with conflict all the time, you can tell me this as well. But what we're actually afraid of, we're talking about seconds to maybe a minute and a half. You know, when we were birthing, when my wife was birthing our first child, actually, we went for birthing from within classes. And what we were, still makes me smile, what we were shown to do was to hold an ice cube in our hand for a minute, okay? So I know what it's like to give birth because I've held an ice cube in my hand, right? Possibly it's more like 2. Anyway. But you know, if we wanted to simulate what a bit of discomfort is like for 20, 30, 40 seconds, it's what we can do. And perhaps have someone stick their finger up your nose as well for a bit of extra stimulation. But that's all it is. That's all it is. And can you even imagine how greater your connection to your divine spirit would be? How more healthier relationships would be, and how more functional society and community would be if people were actually addressing these things instead of shoving them away or eating them down or drowning themselves in their phones, television, and so on and so on. You know, we come here to talk about God. God is there. God is there. It's the ridiculous activities that we do to stop that and block ourselves from it. That's the spiritual path, you know? So, what are the actions then? The actions of walking through the door, or taking these divine risks, if we can call it that. it's going to be unique. It's going to be unique for every single person on the planet. But some of them are asking for help, addressing what's bothering you. Be surprised, but people don't want to do that. It could be stopping. It could be resting. It could be saying no to someone or something. It could be saying yes to someone or something that might disturb the homeostasis of the ego there. It might be asking for what you want or asking for what you deserve. Again, really, if you look within, how often do you ask of yourself, ask of spirit, ask of other people really what you want? It could be listening. My God, there's a week's conversation right there. Actually stopping and listening to someone, stopping the chatter for a moment, stopping the to-do list from going round repetitively. Could be changing what you eat. Could be staying off social media. So, I could gather more at you, or I could demonstrate this. Okay? So, I could take a risk right now. I'm going to. Not a risk. But I'm going to work with spontaneity right now. And I'm going to live with the consequences of it. Okay? Happy, would you come up here a minute? Notice how the energy shifts until when we start looking at the present moment. It's like, oh, everyone's awake now. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Happy, come here, please. Okay. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Say whatever you want. Hey, let me give you the word. I'm going to time you, yeah. Got to have structure here, people. And sorry, technology. I don't know. So I'm really spinning this out, aren't I?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Go for it.
But anyhow, good morning, everybody. What a great day it is. I'm just so glad to see all these happy faces here today. And I noticed one person, and I introduced myself to her. Her name was Debbie. She's new to the church today, so I hope everybody gets a chance to say hi to her sometime today. And I found out that little thing works that goes up the steps to help people up the steps. And I see Cindy over there fanning herself. And I brought a fan today to the church just because of that one thing. And I took out the old fan and brought in a new fan, and it's modern and it cycles back and forth. And I think we need more of those. I love fans. So yeah, I think my 60 minutes is up, or 60 seconds.
Actually, you've got 8 seconds. 7 seconds.
But anyhow, it's just good to get the circulation. And Linda had mentioned to me, she says, because I told her, I says, if I bring in this new fan, can we get rid of the old one?
And talking about fans, we are your fans.
Oh, I just got to tell you a joke real quick.
Okay.
Has anybody ever heard about all the people that wore their winter coats to the baseball game?
No.
Nobody heard about it? They heard there were going to be thousands of fans there.
So we can talk about it, or we can actually experience spontaneity in the present moment. And every solution to every problem and every question is going to happen in the present moment. Now, there wasn't that much of a risk asking Happy to come up here because he's a wonderful, beautiful person. Did you notice how many times he used the word love there? He probably wasn't going to talk about possibly having a pimple on his bottom or any of these things. He probably wasn't going to do that. I don't know if he does. So, what is on the other side of a door? What's on the other side of a risk, as it were, that you might take? What happens if you do it after the squeeze? Okay, if you can sit through the squeeze. Well, God is on the other side, obviously. The other side is achievement. It's healthy pride. Healthy pride, okay? Because just like shame, you can have unhealthy shame and healthy shame, okay? The other side of the door is growth. And the other side of the door is authenticity, okay? a few more things like this, and the candle happening earlier on, and hey, it's okay to not have a plan. Because you know what's special about this church? As you said, Cynthia, you're a great bunch of people. It's the fellowship. You know, that's the celebration here. Believe God loves community. God loves the potlucks that you're going to do. Coming together over food. That's beauty. And you know, much before my time though it was, and Charles and Myrtle decided to go into the middle of nowhere that is now known as Unity Village and build there, they were doing something that had not been done before. They were doing something that wasn't safe. And they probably had a lot of people laughing and chuckling at them, lots of contractors going, really? There? You do know Lee's Summit is... Anyway. And what's also behind the door is more doors. Because growth doesn't end at one simple opportunity, does it? No, there's going to be another one, because God is behind you, gently pushing you, gently gesturing you forward, saying, you did so well there. You did so well. Here's another one for you. And you can test and grow your muscles and become stronger and grow your connection and feel me more. So, you know, to really conclude what I'm speaking about here with authenticity and spontaneity, I want to say, know your shadow. Know the little child within you that acts up. There will be a time to listen to that little voice, and there will be a time to say, maybe not right now. I want to say, understand yourself. These are powerful urges and energies that dwell within us, channeled appropriately. I want to say particularly, don't wait until you have to do something. Because the dynamics and mechanics of the energy that propel that might make it a bit more complicated. When we are really forced into a corner, it's not easy and graceful to act. And finally, I want to say, take these opportunities because they're all divine gifts. And they don't stop happening. And don't worry about missing out on opportunities because there's going to be plenty behind that. And God knows us all, implicitly, of course. He knows what we're afraid of. He, she, knows what we're afraid of. Knows that we might not take the first bait. So there'll be a second one, and there'll be a third one. And then there might be a gap. We choose not to take it. But there'll be another one, and another one, and another one behind that. I'm going to lead into the meditation now. I'll explain to you what I'm going to do. Sebastian would have seen one of these before. This is what's called a looping pedal. So I make sound into this, and it loops. I make sound on top, and top, and top, and top, and top, and top, and top. And music eventually comes out of that. This is working with spontaneity, with the present moment. And so much can go wrong with one of these things. But that's the joy right there. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You know I was doing my best. Hopefully it will go right. But you know, the more that I can encourage you and be an example of working with the present moment, the more grace there is for everyone. Okay? What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a version of the Prayer of St. Francis that I put to music. It's a bit of a long backstory as to why I'm doing it today, but suffice to say, the message of the song and the meditation, as it were, is to ask that God make us an instrument, that we be used, that we be receptive to it, that we see the better version of the suckier version that's right in front of us. That's really the prayer of the song. And St. Francis did not write this prayer, someone else did, but it's attributed to his humility, his unity, the seeing of unity in every living thing. Okay. Give me a moment to set up here.
This is my speaker system. Do you like it?
Yes.
It's okay, isn't it? Booming. Didn't do a sound check, didn't do any of it. So, I'd like you to invite you to close your eyes. And just feel your breath as it expands and contracts within your chest. Move your attention to your stomach. To your stomach where we hold so much tension. And breathe. Breathe from there. And I want to say relax as well. Because God can do so much, anything, with a relaxed vessel. I'm going to begin the singing, and just breathe as the sounds come to your ears and move through your body. is in giving. An instrument we receive. Make me an instrument. It is in pardoning. Make me an instrument of your pardoning. And it is in dying. An instrument. We are born to eternal. An instrument. We are born to eternal. Instrument. We are born to eternal lives. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Oh, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument.
So just take these moments, feel your body. Feel your body from toe to head. Feel the space around you, and by which I mean beneath you and above you, your left, your right, in front and behind. In a radius of 3 feet. And this is the space that you occupy outside of your physical body. And this is the space that you interact with your community through. Take a nice deep breath into your heart center.